me. Just look at me. Don't you recognize me? Well, I was born in this village, and I've lived here my whole life. Are you sure you don't recognize me? Well, that's all right. I forgive you. I hardly recognize myself. Today, this week, I am a new woman. I'm a new child of God. And God has given me a message for all of you. And it's an important message. So listen up. Well, you see me as a worthless old woman, a burden to her family and all of her neighbors. Yes, I walk with a stick for balance only. And I'm no good in the fields anymore. But, oh, this time last week, I was completely different. This time last week, I was so bent over that I couldn't see down the street to see where I was going, so I bumped into a lot of things. What a nuisance. I was so bent over that I couldn't see the person standing in front of me talking to me. I could only see the little bit of brown that was around my toes. I bet you can't even imagine that. Only this amount of brown could I see. And I was so bent over that I was filled with pain. That hurts. I was filled with pain, both day and night. And mind you, I was filled with pain and bent over for 18 years. That's a long time. 18 years. And I'm ashamed to say that I got a little bitter and angry about that. I don't think I was a good, nice person to be around. But I challenge any of you to be happy and glad and gay when you're all bent over and in such pain. I was in pain day and night with no let up. But look at me now. No wonder you don't recognize me. My family didn't even recognize me because they were used to just seeing the top of my head. They forgot what my face looked like because it was always pointing down. Well, that was true for 18 long years. Then last week, I went to the synagogue to pray. That's my habit. I go nearly every day. And when I got into the synagogue that day, there was a new person there. A new man that I had never seen before. I didn't know him at all. Well, as soon as I walked in, he beckoned me over, and I was afraid because I thought he was going to kick me out of the synagogue and say I couldn't be there. But he didn't. Instead, he whispered to me, "Woman, this day you are free from your affliction." And then he gently put his hands on my head. Well, I immediately stood up. I could straighten my back and my neck, and my pain went away. It was amazing. It was a miracle. And I went all over the synagogue rejoicing and praising God over this amazing thing that had happened. But I heard the leader of the synagogue say to this man, "You should not be healing on the Sabbath." So here I was, happy, overjoyed, thrilled to death. And that man was mad about it. Well, we all know that you shouldn't work on the Sabbath. It's the Lord's day of rest. But what I know is this man put his hands on my head. Is that work? Well, apparently it is for that synagogue leader, because he went on, berating this man for healing on the Sabbath. He had 6 other days to do all of his healing, and he shouldn't be doing it on the Sabbath. Well, I know for me, I was very glad that I didn't have to wait even one more day. So, look at me. It's amazing. I can look up at the sky and see the treetops and the clouds and the birds. It's wonderful. Well, I then made my way home, and they didn't recognize me, but my heart was filled to overflowing. I think I probably did a few dance steps on the way home. I was that happy. Well, so I can see things, I can look out at all of you, I can walk down the street without bumping into things. It's all wonderful. But I had to stop and think for a moment. After 18 years, God did not forget me. God did hear my prayers, and God did answer them. That alone is amazing. We should never give up. We should continually pray to God, because God continually listens. Well, then I had to think about Psalm 71. And that psalm says, "In you, O Lord, you are my rock of refuge. Let me not be put to shame. In your righteousness, be for me a rock of refuge. Incline your ear to me and save me. Be for me a rock of refuge, a fortress to save me. You, O Lord, are my strong fortress." Well, for 18 years, I was in pain. That song had always been easy for me my whole life. We recited it in our family and in most of your families several times a year. And it was easy because, of course, God is our refuge. Of course, God will save us. Of course, God is always there for us. But I was in pain. I was suffering. So God did not seem like a strong fortress or a rock for me. God did not remove my shame. I was stuck there. And then I began to think, God didn't hear my prayers. God would not rescue me or heal me. I was alone and scared. I felt as if God was very far away. God had abandoned me. That's the worst feeling you could possibly have. Where could I turn for help or comfort? If God wouldn't help me, who would? I was in deep, deep despair. I decided then that I needed to change my prayer. God, please just let me die. Then a man from God came, and he delivered me from my shame and my incapacity. And he did it by just putting his hands on my head. It was amazing. It was a miracle. And I can attest to that miracle now. And so, I thought to myself, what was I afraid of? Why did I give up on God? Because God never gave up on me. God always heard my prayers and answered them. So, God really is my rock and my strong fortress, my deliverance from shame. Oh, it's been a week, let me tell you. But I've learned that we never should give up on God, because God never gives up on us. We need to continually pray and pray always. The problems that I had, they were my fault, all on me, because I gave up on God too soon. Because I didn't have enough patience. Really, because I didn't have enough faith to have the patience. God is my rock and my refuge. God does hear our prayers. Be steadfast. Because I had to conclude, what was I afraid of? And why would I have doubted God? Believe me, I'll never doubt God again. That's for sure. And so the message is, be constant in your faith. Keep praying and know that God is always with you. But then, look out. Look at all the faces that are around you. This is your community. These are people who pray with you and for you. These are the people who will offer you help and comfort when you need it. You can depend on them. They're all gifts from God. Then be sure to look up at the sky and see the clouds and the treetops and the birds. They're beautiful. Oh, and the stars at night. Amazing. They're all gifts from God, made just for you. So look at me and learn from me. In God, all things are possible. And God creates for us. Thanks be to God.